Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Angel of the Night here. We're back again with another grand challenge battle. Tonight's battle is number 9, and it's VGC doubles in Regulation H. So we're going to see our opponent lead off here with a Gyarados and a Metagross. We're going to lead off here with the Zebstrika and the Misdreavus. Now, the reason I went with the two Pokemon that I did is because they both have the electric type moves, plus as well also have the capability of steel coverage with the Zebstrika. So I lock in with the high horsepower into the Metagross, and before I thought things through, I locked in with the Thunderbolt into the Gyarados. Now, if you guys have been watching these battles, you guys may know that I have Lightning Rod on my Zebstrika. So right off the bat, as soon as I clicked into it, I realized I made the mistake. And I'm like, oh, I can't actually get the Thunderbolt off onto that Gyarados. Well, it gets worse, because Metagross actually goes in for the terrestrial ground here. And they're going to be able to get a decent Earthquake off onto the Zebstrika, and they're actually going to be able to knock us out here. As you can see, Lightning Rod, this was a terrible play. I did the biggest noob move ever. Now, you got to remember, battle number 9 on a Thursday night, and I probably worked 6 to 2 that day, meaning I was up at 4 a.m. Obviously, not the right combination to be able to do moves, obviously. But we can't really get any kind of damage off here onto the Gyarados, and in comes the Earthquake into the Zebstrika, picking up the KO. So yeah, turn 1 is done and over with. We don't ever have to talk about it again. We don't have to mention it again. Let's just forget this whole thing ever happened. I did upload it, obviously, because I want to show you guys that I'm real in my uploads. You know, everybody makes mistakes, guys. So anyways, we bring in Amoonguss here next, and that's pretty much so that way we can do some redirections of our opposing Pokemon into the Amoonguss. We definitely need to have the Rage Powder, or even just try to get the Spore. But we're going to go for the Tera Water here because we want to be able to resist the Earthquakes, and we also want to be able to resist the whole Waterfall scenario from the Gyarados. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. Plus as well, we also have Shadow Ball on Misdreavus, and we might actually be able to get some damage off onto the Metagross at the same time. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. So Rage Powder is in effect. All moves are being redirected into the Amoonguss unless it is a move that hits 2 Pokemon at once. Here we go with the Shadow Ball, and Shadow Ball actually does a good chunk of damage into the Metagross. And of course, Waterfall going into the Amoonguss doesn't really do anything. Plus as well, we also resist the Psychic Fangs, which is pretty awesome. Does activate the Citrus Berry, however, so that way we do get a little bit of our health back, and now we're actually free to make some more moves. Now, we could go for the Rage Powder here, we could go for the Sludge Bomb. Pretty much at this point, I'm kind of trying to debate on what we're going to do here, obviously because I made a huge mistake at the very beginning. We end up doing the redirect, and we're also going to go for the Thunderbolt into the Gyarados. It's 4 times weak, obviously, so we want to get that damage off there, actually be able to pick up some sort of a KO. Amoonguss becoming the center of attention. Here we go with the Thunderbolt into the Gyarados. That is going to take it down into the red zone there. Honestly, I actually thought I was going to be able to pick up the KO, but it looks like I don't have enough special attack in the Misdreavus in order to be able to do that. We end up living a Psychic Fangs to 1 HP, and we're going to redirect again, and then this time we're going to go in for, I believe it was a Dazzling Gleam, if I'm not mistaken. That way we can hit 2 Pokemon at once. But there's the Bolt Punch picking up the KO onto the Amoonguss, leaving us open for another Pokemon to attack. Now that's 2 Pokemon down onto our team. We still have 1 Pokemon remaining. As you guys know, it's definitely the Tauros. Here we go with the Dazzling Gleam. We pick up the KO onto the Gyarados, but unfortunately not enough to pick up the KO onto the Metagross. Metagross definitely seems to be running wild in this battle, and I'm not liking it, to be honest. We have, like I said, 1 more Pokemon remaining. We got Tauros here. We could go for the Rock Slide. We could go for the Raging Bull. We could go for the Close Combat. And the next Pokemon that comes in is Overquill. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think Overquill is a Dark Water or Dark Poison type, I think. Either way, it's bad news bears. It could do a lot of different things. Could even go for Explosion. So pretty much at this point, I'm thinking to myself, well, am I going to go for Raging Bull? Am I going to go for Close Combat? What is my best option here? So we lock into the Metagross, and of course, we're going to go for the Shadow Ball, maybe the Thunderbolt, maybe the Dazzling Gleam. Kind of a toss-up here. You never really know exactly what to do on Pokemon that you don't really see that often. Overquill, honestly, I actually had to look up during this battle what the typing was, because I had no idea. I know that Quillfish was poison water, but Overquill is a dark type. So it ends up going for the crunch, actually super effective into the Misdreavus, and we basically just have the Tauros left. He does have one more Pokemon remaining on the opposing side, obviously, and that is going to be Blaziken. Now, Blaziken is not an ideal Pokemon here for this situation, because we know right off the bat it's going to be able to outspeed that Tauros. I need to get a good Rock Slide off here, and maybe even Flinch. It doesn't actually outspeed my Tauros, but it does have like a speed booster in the background. There's the Barrage coming in here. We do get poisoned, which is unfortunate, and we do have a Lum Berry though, so that's definitely a positive thing. But there's the Aura Sphere coming in from the Blaziken. It is going to make contacting is right down into the yellow, about a quarter HP left. Blaziken getting a speed boost, obviously going to be able to outspeed here next turn, and pretty much at this point we can either go in for one or we can go in for both. So I ended up choosing to go in for one at this time. I wanted to really take out this Overquill, because I know really and truly I'm not going to be able to take out that Blaziken with a Rock Slide. We get poisoned again, and of course that's going to slowly drain our health if we actually manage to survive a hit. But here's the Aura Sphere that's going to be able to pick up the KO, and that is going to be game. So good game to my opponent. Unfortunately, that is a loss, but you know what? That's a really good experience. You guys can see that I'm not perfect as well, but if you enjoyed, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and post a comment.